The raging ocean waves are swiftly cut by the huge tail fin of the shark. The protagonist, named Tyler, tells a girl named Sophia not to give up and to row on. Tyler notices a huge shark swimming closer and closer to them. Tyler mentally tells himself that if this continues, they will both die here. Thinking that he will have to take a chance, Tyler takes the board from Sophia's hands. But Sophia does not understand his intentions. Sophia screams Tyler's name, mentally begging him not to kill her, crying about wanting to live. The shark emerges from the water, revealing a huge mouth full of sharp teeth. Sophia begins to drown, while Tyler slams the board into the shark's face with all his might, preventing it from biting them. The shark stares at Tyler for a while before diving deep into the water. Noticing that Sophia is drowning, the shark heads toward her, completely forgetting about Tyler. Rapidly approaching Sophia, the shark opens its huge mouth again to eat Sophia in one sitting. Sophia begins to choke, looking up with the last thoughts that she wants to live. Suddenly, the shark's sense of smell picks up the alluring smell of human blood. Meanwhile, Tyler tears the shard off the board and rewinds his wound in preparation for the dive. Inevitably, salt water gets into his wound, and he screams in great pain. Gathering his strength, Tyler dives deep down, distracting the shark with his bleeding wound. The shark instantly loses interest in Sophia and chases after Tyler. Catching up to him, she opens her mouth to bite off Tyler's legs in an instant. However, Tyler manages to dodge, causing the shark to snap its teeth and expose itself to the attack. Tyler stabs a piece of wood into the shark's black eye with all his might. The shark tries to escape from the unbearable pain, and in doing so, allows Tyler to cut a deep wound in it. For a while, the shark rushes back and forth, but soon slows down and begins to go smoothly to the bottom. After defeating a dangerous predator, Tyler quickly surfaces to help Sophia. Sophia, meanwhile, continues to suffocate, gradually losing consciousness. She mentally calls for help, closing her eyes from a severe lack of oxygen and strength to surface on her own. The last thing she sees before she finally passes out is the silhouette of Tyler rapidly floating towards her. Tyler notices that Sophia has lost consciousness and is speeding up, concentrating all her strength. The protagonist quickly gets to the girl and manages to pick her up before she goes to the bottom. Picking her up with one hand, Tyler rushes to the surface to get Sophia ashore as soon as possible. Tyler pulls Sophia ashore, laying her down on the sand hot from the bright sun. Sophia wakes up by coughing up the water that has accumulated in her lungs. Sophia wipes her mouth with her hand, feeling something pressing in her chest. Lowering her eyes, Sophia notices that Tyler is giving her an indirect heart massage. Tyler looks at her questioningly and continues to press down on her chest in the heart area with both hands. Out of extreme embarrassment, Sophia screams loudly, calling Tyler a pervert and slapping him in the face. After a while, Sophia apologizes to Tyler, saying that she didn't realize at first that he was giving her CPR. Tyler turns away from Sophia, saying that he didn't just do CPR, causing Sophia to understand. Tyler adds that they both studied medicine, so this question seems strange to him. Sophia is embarrassed again, averting her eyes and telling Tyler that she is very grateful to him. Looking around, she asks Tyler where they are, but Tyler admits that he has no idea. Sophia asks Tyler if his phone is still working, to which Tyler replies that his phone is working, but there is no signal. Sophia suggests that Tyler write to the emergency services, but he reminds her that there is no signal. Sophia tells Tyler that it is possible to write to the rescue service even without a SIM card. Sophia takes Tyler's phone, saying that she will write to the emergency services herself. The girl sends a message for help, however it is marked as undeliverable. Sophia and Tyler spend a few seconds in awkward silence, looking at their phones. Undeterred, she turns to Tyler and tells him that his phone is broken. However, Tyler manages to climb a palm tree in the meantime and asks her why she thinks so. Tyler notes that they would be able to write to the emergency services even without a SIM card if the phone was in range of the network. Sophia asks him what they should do, adding that they need to figure out where they are and call for help. Tyler looks around for people, but suddenly something catches his eye. Without explanation, he yells at Sophia to be very quiet. Sophia gets mad at Tyler and asks him why he shuts her up, adding that she was almost eaten by a shark. She continues to be indignant. However, Tyler quickly runs up to her and covers her mouth with his hand, asking her to shut up. Tyler stares in the direction where he had previously seen suspicious activity. Suddenly, a sharp spear flies into them from the thicket, but Tyler manages to grab Sophia and dodge. The spear crashes into the sand at high speed and gets stuck in it for a while, continuing to twitch. Sofia lies on the ground and asks Tyler in surprise what has just happened. Tyler and Sofia look into the undergrowth, hearing some rustling and the sound of approaching footsteps. A few seconds later, 3 natives armed with primitive weapons emerge from the thicket. The natives are hostile and begin to shout something in their own language, threateningly approaching the heroes. Tyler is mentally surprised that there are locals here, but decides to ask them how they are doing. The protagonist hopes that the natives will tell them where they are, but they rush to the attack, screaming. Tyler is surprised by the hostility, but dodges the spear at the last moment. One by one, the natives launch unsuccessful attacks on Tyler, while he is still trying to talk to them in different languages. The main native is annoyed that they fail to do any damage to Tyler. With loud shouts, he points at Tyler, ordering the others to attack. Tyler asks the natives to stop, not realizing what he has done to their tribe. A native with a spear tries to injure Tyler with multiple spear blows, but Tyler easily dodges it. The leader of the natives decides to attack Tyler from behind while he is distracted by an opponent with a spear. Tyler realizes it's time to end the negotiations and grabs the spear with a slight movement. He pulls the spear towards him with force, blocking the attack of the leader of the natives. Taking advantage of the delay of his opponents, Tyler decides to kick the leader. With a powerful punch, Tyler smashes his opponent's nose and forces him to recoil. While the leader temporarily loses his combat capability, Tyler tries to snatch the spear from his opponent. Tyler pulls the spear towards him with force, preparing to knock out his opponent with a powerful punch to the face. Sofia notices the impending danger and yells at Tyler to be careful. The third native finally reaches Tyler and attacks him with a spear, inflicting a slash wound on his side. Tyler finds himself surrounded, telling himself that they definitely want to kill him. Meanwhile, one of the natives suddenly rushes the other way, ignoring Tyler. The native targets Sofia, who screams and tries to escape. However, the savage quickly catches up with Sofia and stabs her in the back with the back of his spear. Sofia loses her balance and falls to the sand, screaming in great pain. The girl raises herself on her elbows, coughing up the sand and saying that she can barely breathe. The savage decides to finish off Sofia by raising a huge spear over her, letting out terrible screams. Sofia screams Tyler's name, begging him to save her, and closes her eyes as she feels her face splatter with blood. Tyler manages to get to the native and pierces him through with a spear. The native's lifeless body falls heavily in front of Sofia and she screams in terror. Tyler forcefully steps on the savage's corpse, pressing down on it with his foot to pull out the spear. After a few attempts, he successfully retrieves the weapon from his opponent's corpse, looking around. Tyler shakes his spear to cleanse it of blood and heads to the other natives. The leader of the natives lets out a battle cry and recklessly charges forward at Tyler. However, Tyler only meets the native with a spear blow to the throat, also piercing him through with a single blow. As the leader of the savages dies a painful death, Tyler stretches his arms, saying that the last enemy remains. In order to finish off the last native, Tyler decides to pick up the leader's weapon lying on the ground. The last remaining native lets out an uncertain cry as Tyler chooses the moment to strike. Finding the right moment, Tyler throws the knife at his opponent with force. The native manages to block the attack, and Tyler's knife bounces off the spear, falling to the ground. However, Tyler decides to take advantage of the native's momentary delay and delivers a powerful knee blow to his face. From a strong blow, the native loses his weapon and goes flying, falling on the sand. Given a small window of opportunity, Tyler throws a bone knife at the fallen native. With a well-aimed throw, Tyler hits an opponent in the head and turns around to see if there are any other threats nearby. Sofia is still trembling from the shock and looks at Tyler as she says his name. Tyler examines Sofia, realizing that she is scared to death and mentally speculating that she grew up in a hothouse. Sofia asks Tyler if he is real, to which Tyler replies in the affirmative. The girl looks at Tyler with admiration and asks him about when he managed to become so cool. Sofia points out that Tyler has just dealt with the 3 grown men, adding that he recently killed a huge shark. Sofia says she can witness Tyler's defense in court, adding that she will have no trouble confirming that he killed the natives in self-defense. Tyler listens to his companion and a kind of smirk appears on his face in response to her words. Sofia asks Tyler why he's laughing, to which Tyler responds with a counter-question about whether Sofia is scared. She admits that if it weren't for Tyler, she would have been killed by the natives, and asks where Tyler got all these skills, adding that he doesn't look like an ordinary medical student. Tyler confesses to Sofia that he served in the military for several years before going to university. Tyler reminisces about his past, in which a pharmaceutical tycoon gives him an assignment in which Tyler must pretend to be an ordinary university student. The employer hands Tyler a photo of the girl, saying that her only task will be to protect her. Tyler also recalls that before he could get to the object of protection, there was an explosion in the cruise ship. Tyler doesn't know if the explosion was staged, but he hopes the girl will be lucky enough to hold out until he gets to her. Tyler takes a bone knife from the body of a defeated opponent and begins to chop coconuts. Sofia walks over to the palm tree where Tyler is sitting and warns him that someone is swimming towards them. Tyler peers into the distance and notices a small life raft on the water with a group of people on it. Sofia assumes that they are other survivors and is about to go to them, but Tyler stops her, telling her not to get into the water. Sharks begin to circle in large numbers around the life raft with 3 survivors. The survivors begin to panic at the fact that the sharks keep coming. Sofia watches this frightening sight and says that the situation looks terrible. Tyler looks around in an attempt to find a way to help the survivors and focuses his attention on the dead bodies of the natives. The protagonist grabs the body of the savage and goes into the water with it, telling Sofia to stay on the shore. After going further, Tyler begins to swim with his body towards a large school of sharks. The sharks feel the blood drifting across the water from the dead native and shifts their attention. Tyler notices a change in the shark's behavior and rejoices in his success as he thinks of escape routes. Noticing that the sharks are getting closer, Tyler begins to turn around, leaving the lifeless body on the water. Seconds later, Tyler kicks off the dead native. The sharks swim closer and closer to the dead man, while Tyler swims away to safety. After catching his breath for a while, Tyler mentally notes that he now needs to do the same with the second corpse. In the shallows, Sofia is waiting for him, dragging the next corpse, saying that she decided to help Tyler, after which he mentally admits to himself that he underestimated her. The survivors are overjoyed that the sharks swim away from them and they are safe for a while. They decide to take advantage of the gift of fate and paddle to the shore as quickly as possible. While the sharks are busy devouring the bodies of the natives, the survivors lean on the oars with all their might and make their way to the shore. The survivors dock on the island, and Tyler cuts some coconuts from a palm tree to greet them. Sofia approaches the surviving woman, calling her the leader and asking her if she's okay. The leader stands up and thanks Sofia and Tyler for their help, noting that if it wasn't for them, their group would most likely have perished. Sofia asks the supervisor where the rest of the students and teachers have gone. The boss's face changes sadly and says she has no good news about it. According to her, the situation was too chaotic and only a few were able to reach the lifeboats. She adds that during the fire, there was turmoil everywhere and most people were unable to coordinate. She also recalls that immediately after the explosion, a storm began, and in the end, only the 3 of them managed to climb onto this lifeboat. Sofia can hardly believe what is happening, while one of the survivors says he didn't expect to see her here. He introduces himself as Charles, saying that they took a diet course together, adding that he is very grateful to her for saving him. Sofia points at Tyler, saying that they should all be thankful to him and she only helped a little. Charles holds out his hand to Tyler, smiling broadly and thanking him for saving him. They shake hands and Charles asks Tyler about what he threw into the sea to distract the sharks. Before Tyler answers, Charles says he thought they were people. The other 2 survivors are surprised by what they hear and look at Tyler in shock. Tyler calmly replies that he dumped the bodies of the locals into the water. The survivors are even more frightened by the state of affairs and look at Tyler in horror. Charles nervously asks Tyler if he killed civilians to distract the sharks. Tyler replies that it's better to feed the dead to the sharks than to let them eat the living. All the newcomers freeze in deep shock, and Charles squeezes out the words that Tyler's actions are simply terrible. Sofia yells at Tyler that he is burying himself, then turns to the survivors and tells him that these savages attacked them themselves, so Tyler had to defend himself. Charles says that for the sake of their mutual safety, restrictive measures must be taken against Tyler. He reasoned that Tyler should not be allowed to move freely and out of their sight. He also adds that it is necessary to tie up Tyler before they go to bed. Charlie approaches Sofia and tells her that he will protect her, to which Sofia sarcastically remarks that she doesn't need to. Sofia asks the survivors what is wrong with them, adding that if Tyler hadn't saved them, they would have been feeding the sharks long ago. Charles persists in saying that Tyler killed people and adds that this makes him unpredictable and dangerous. Tyler looks at Charles and tells him not to worry so much. He adds that if Charles thinks he's dangerous, he'll happily send him back to the sea. Sofia yells at Charles, telling him to stop talking nonsense since he didn't see what happened here. The girl adds that she has already explained everything, adding that Tyler was defending himself against savages who tried to kill them and did not want to make contact at all. The supervisor adds that Tyler saved them from the sharks, offering to show more trust in him, at least in gratitude. Charles is silent for a moment, then snorts under his breath in displeasure. However, after a split second, he smiles broadly to say that he agrees with the boss, after which he apologizes to Tyler, saying that he was too nervous. He approaches Sofia again and tells her that he was worried about her, adding that she is a girl and that it would be best if she was surrounded only by reliable people. Sofia doesn't respond to Charles's pleasantries, while the other survivor decides to introduce herself. The survivor introduces himself as Alex, saying that he works for a construction company and holds a position as a member of the board of supervisors. Alex asks Tyler if he has a plan for the future, to which Tyler replies that he would love to hear his suggestion. Alex says they don't know when help will arrive, so the first priority should be to find out the situation on the island and find drinking water and food. He suggests going into the woods before it gets dark, as they may stumble upon other survivors or find a way to leave the island in the course of their search. Sofia asks Sofia what she thinks about this, but Sofia confidently replies that she will follow Tyler anywhere. Tyler tells himself in his mind that there is too little food and drinking water near the shore, unlike in the jungle, but in the depths of the forest, they are likely to stumble upon savages. After weighing the pros and cons, Tyler tells Sofia and the supervisor that he doesn't recommend them go into the woods so quickly, as it's too dangerous. The leader tells Alex that Tyler may be right, adding that if they go into the woods, they might encounter wild doors, or the locals. Alex says that he thinks the lady supervisor is exaggerating, as there are hardly any large animals on this island. He also adds that if they meet with the locals, he will be able to negotiate with them if he behaves in a friendly manner. Charles agrees with Alex, saying that savages are ordinary, narrow-minded people who are easy to get along with. Sofia loses her temper and starts yelling at the survivors, saying that she just explained everything to them. Tyler shields Sofia and tells the rest of the survivors that he understands their point of view. Tyler picks up a bone knife and says that killing a person counts as murder anyway. He then confronts Charles and tells him that it doesn't matter if you killed one person or five, as you will still be considered a murderer. Tyler steps even closer and swings his bone knife violently, looking menacingly at Charles. The boss shouts Tyler's name in fright and asks him not to do it. Charles covers his face with his hands and loudly asks for help from those around him. Tyler delivers a powerful knife blow, whizzing through the air around him. Charles opens his eyes and notices that Tyler has cut the coconut in half with a bone knife. Tyler hands half of the coconut to the supervisor, offering her some juice to drink. Tyler then gives the knife to Alex and asks him if he'd like to try it too, to which Alex agrees. Alex takes a knife and cuts the coconut, saying that he still thinks they can't just sit here and wait for something. He adds that they don't have food or water, and even with these coconuts, they won't last long. Tyler notices a cut on his side and says he's remembered something very important. He pulls out a wolf's fang, saying that he borrowed it from one of the natives who attacked them. Alex takes a closer look at the wolf's fang and says that he doesn't believe they are the only survivors, as there were too many people on the liner. He reiterates his suggestion that they should go into the woods, at least to find the other survivors. Tyler mentally tells himself that if he went there alone, he would be able to figure out what was going on. But if they went there together, his hands would be tied. Tyler agrees, saying that they can go into the woods, however. They must advance very carefully and slowly. Sometime later, Tyler, armed with a spear, carefully leads a group of survivors into the jungle. Alex notes that there are several species of Chinese palm trees here, pointing his finger at each of them. The manager, who is now called Sally, tells Alex that he knows a lot, to which Alex laughs it off, saying that he just went hiking a lot. Suddenly, a hare jumps out of the bushes in front of a group of survivors, which immediately disappears away. Alex tells the survivors that the hare needs to be caught urgently and sets off in pursuit of the small animal. Tyler stops Sofia, telling her to take her time, as they will only waste their energy in catching the elusive animal. He adds that there is a lot of vegetation in such a jungle that will slow them down a lot, adding that even he is not sure that he would be able to catch this hare. After a while, Tyler and Sofia hear loud screams and decide to check what happened. Sofia replies that, judging by the sound, it was the screams of Charles and the supervisor. Sofia tells Tyler that they might be in danger and tells him to hurry up, but Tyler replies that they don't need to. Sofia doesn't understand Tyler's cold attitude and asks him why he thinks so. However, Tyler casually clarifies his point of view, saying that they will run to them on their own. With that, Charles runs out at Tyler and Sofia, followed by Alex and Sally. Charles yells at everyone to run towards the shore, while Sofia looks at them and doesn't understand what's going on. Tyler grabs Sofia's arm and starts running towards the shore while she turns back. At the end of the column, the leader runs, and this chase finds it more and more difficult. Due to inattention and stress, Sally catches a lying snag with her foot. Tripping over a heavy piece of driftwood, Sally lands in the grass at full speed. Sofia tries to break free from Tyler's grasp, saying that she has to help the boss. Seconds later, what so frightened the group of survivors runs out of the bushes, and Sofia stares in horror at the huge boar. Enraged, the hog immediately notices the helpless Sally and rushes straight at her. The boar lets out a loud screech as it quickly approaches the unfortunate girl. Tyler lets Sofia go and rushes to save the helpless boss himself. He yells at the rest of the group of survivors to run without stopping, while he himself speeds up to catch Sally's aid. Charles catches up to Sofia and blocks her path to the other survivors, loudly distracting her. He holds out his hand to her and tells her that he will take her out. However, Sofia ignores him and runs past, saying that she is going to help Tyler. Charles becomes even angrier and mentally curses Tyler with all the curses he knows. Meanwhile, Tyler catches up with Sally and asks her to reach out to him as quickly as possible. Sally reaches out to meet Tyler, sincerely thanking him for saving her. However, Tyler quickly and firmly grabs Sally's supervisor by the shoulder. Tyler pulls the leader towards him, knocking her back to the survivors who have come to the rescue. Sofia and Charles catch the manager, asking her if she's okay. Tyler asks the survivors why they're still here, and reminds them that he asked them to flee without looking back. Tyler prepares to fight the boar, but suddenly someone pushes him in the back, forcing him to lose his balance. The wild boar chooses Tyler as his new target and picks up speed again, preparing to ram his opponent. The accelerating boar quickly closes the distance and jumps on Tyler, preparing to kill him with a single blow. Tyler pauses for a moment in anticipation, trying to calculate all the possible courses of action. Catching himself in time, he manages to dodge, making a jump with a flip over the boar. The boar runs over Tyler, ramming only ferns in air with its huge carcass. Tyler lands on the ground, doing a somersault and inspecting himself for injuries. He discovers that the boar managed to hit him with its fangs, leaving a large cut on his chest. The boar turns on Tyler but immediately notices Sofia and Sally. The animal again emits an animal cry and prepares for a new swift attack. Sofia is frightened by the wild beast and freezes in a chilling and binding terror. The boar targets Sofia and begins to pick up speed for the attack again. Tyler notes that this boar weighs at least 300 kilograms, so if it crashes into Sofia, it will definitely kill her. Thinking that he must not let Sofia die, he rushes to the rescue again. The boar lets out another high-pitched screech and rapidly approaches Sofia. Sofia stands helplessly and can only let out a desperate cry for help. Tyler manages to run to Sofia and pushes her to the side, removing her from the boar's line of attack. However, because of this, he has to take the hit, which causes him to fly back several meters. Falling to the ground, Tyler flips several times before finally stopping. The boar slows down briefly, examining Tyler's motionless body. Tyler spits out blood and begins to go through his options again. The boar decides to finish off Tyler and begins to pick up speed again for the ram. Sofia and Sally scream in horror at Tyler that the boar is just around the corner. The boar lets out another piercing scream and gets close to Tyler. However, Tyler manages to dodge at the last moment, causing the boar to crash into a tree at full speed. A powerful collision with a tree stuns the boar, and it falls to the ground unconscious. Tyler looks at the defeated beast, coughing up blood again, and decides to deal with it here and now. Sofia asks Tyler if he's okay, but Tyler asks them to shut up and hide. Tyler tells himself that if he doesn't figure out how to deal with it quickly, he'll either die or be crippled. Charles watches Tyler from the bushes and laments that he didn't die after his encounter with the boar. He watches Sofia intently again, remembering that he never mustered up the courage to admit it to her at university. From his memories, he could only take the same courses and watch her from the shadows. But now that he was on the same island as her, he had a chance. Charles is unhappy that Tyler has come into his life and believes that if he is gone, Sofia will rely on him alone. Charles concludes that he needs to kill Tyler in order to win Sofia's favor. Meanwhile, the boar wakes up and attacks Tyler again, who tries to let him get closer. At the last moment, Tyler dodges the wild beast again, gaining a small window to attack. Tyler takes advantage of the boar's disorientation and throws his bone knife accurately. The knife sticks into the hind leg of the boar and gets stuck there, causing bleeding and severe pain in the animal. The wild boar begins to screech from the piercing pain in his leg. He turns to Tyler and goes berserk with unbearable pain and uncontrollable rage towards his abuser. Tyler is surprised that the animal is still on its feet and tries to think again about what to do. The boar lunges at Tyler again, kicking up dust under its heavy hooves. Tyler decides to use a tried-and-true method and runs away from the boar towards the tree. Sofia watches Tyler excitedly, screaming in fright and fear. Tyler lets the boar get as close as he can and bounces off the tree. Before it can break, the boar crashes into a tree at full speed, briefly stunned again. Tyler lands behind the boar and prepares to finish off a dangerous opponent. He forcefully tears the bone knife out of the boar's carcass and approaches the animal's head. Thinking that it is urgent to finish off the enemy, Tyler begins to deliver multiple blows in the area of the boar's neck and head. The boar refuses to die so easily and starts shaking his head in an attempt to reach Tyler with his fangs. At the right moment, the boar grabs the bone knife with its teeth, blocking Tyler's attacks. However, Tyler delivers a powerful kick to the boar's face, causing it to drop the knife and recoil. Taking advantage of the moment, Tyler quickly jumps on the back of the boar to protect himself from possible attacks. Tyler remembers that the boars have a weak spot just above their eyes and tries to find it by punching them multiple times. Tyler wonders where the wild animal has so much strength from and continues to punch it. Sofia comes to Tyler's aid, accompanied by Alex and Sally's boss. They run up to the wild boar and hold its legs so that it cannot resist. Tyler concentrates all his strength and strikes a lot of blows at the boar's weak point. After a while, the boar finally loosens its resistance, and the group of survivors can relax a bit. Tyler, noticing that the beast has stopped moving, finally calms down by raising his bloody fists. All the survivors sit down on the grass and exhale tiredly, catching their breath little by little. Picking up a bone knife, Tyler finally finishes off the boar by plunging the knife between the wild animal's eyes. Exhaling heavily, Tyler expresses his joy that the boar is finally dead. Sofia asks Tyler how he's feeling, to which Tyler replies that he's fine. Sofia notices Tyler's serious wound and tells him to stop the bleeding as soon as possible. Charles peeks out from behind a tree and tells Tyler that he is very cool for knocking down such a huge boar. Charlie expresses hope that they will have roast pork for dinner tonight. Tyler walks closer to Charles and kicks him hard in the body, knocking him a couple of meters. Falling to the ground from the weight of the impact, Charlie grabs his side and asks Tyler why he did it. Tyler looks down menacingly at Charles and accuses him of trying to kill him. Charles says he doesn't understand the accusations, saying they're baseless. Tyler reminds Charles that he was the one who pushed him in the back towards the boar. Charles tells Tyler that he got it wrong, adding that he had no intention of killing him. Tyler ignores Charles's excuses and throws his bone knife in front of him. He tells Charles that if he wants to kill him, he will give him the chance. Sofia tells Charles that Tyler saved him earlier, wondering why Charles decided to repay him like this. Charles continues to evade, saying that he never meant to hurt Tyler. Tyler says that if Charles doesn't want to grab the gun, he will, and then reaches for the knife. Charles abruptly changes his face and quickly grabs the knife, snatching it from Tyler. Charles menacingly takes a fighting stance, preparing to stab with a bone knife. Picking the right moment, Charles swings his knife and delivers a quick, sweeping blow. However, Tyler manages to parry Charles's attack, deflecting it with a quick kick. Before Charles can come to his senses, the trailer quickly knocks the bone knife out of his hand. Tyler lands a hard elbow to Charles's body, causing him to recoil. Charles, under the force of the blow, crashes his back into a tree behind him and falls to the ground. He tries to catch his breath by clearing his throat due to severe pain in his lungs and back. A split second later, Tyler picks up a bone knife and stabs Charles in the shoulder. Charles screams loudly in searing pain as he feels hot blood running down his shirt. Sally's supervisor asks Tyler if he's sure Charles was trying to kill him on purpose. The supervisor mentally reflects on the fact that they are all students at the same university, hoping to explain to them in the future that human life is no joke, and asks Tyler to spare Charles. Tyler walks up to a sickening Charles and tells him he didn't mean to kill him. He pulls a knife out of Charles's wound, adding that if he wanted to, he would have stabbed him in the throat or in the head. Charles again tries to justify himself by saying that he didn't mean it. However, Tyler says that he only lets Charles go this time. He turns around and says that next time he won't even listen to Charles, he'll just kill him. Sofia stops Tyler and tells him that he has a huge wound on his chest, urging him to treat it urgently. Tyler looks at the dead boar and says that the smell of death will attract even more animals, so he urgently needs to find vines to drag him to the beach and skin him. Alex agrees to Tyler's suggestion, mentally admitting that he is disappointed in Charles, appreciating Tyler's determination and care. After some time, a group of survivors find vines and begin to synchronously pull the boar to the shore. The supervisor holds an injured Charles while Tyler, Alex, and Sofia try to drag the boar away. Finally pulling the boar out, Sofia sits down on the sand, glad that they succeeded, while Tyler begins to stagger painfully. Tyler tries to figure out what's happening to him, pressing his hand to his head in great pain. After a few seconds, Tyler loses consciousness and begins to fall to the ground. Alex and Sofia approach Tyler, finding that he has a high fever. Sofia picks up Tyler's t-shirt and notices that his wound has started to look much worse. He walks up to Sofia and asks what happened to Tyler, telling her that he started to get inflamed early. Alex fears that the wound could prove fatal in the absence of medicine, adding that the boar's fangs probably had a whole bunch of dangerous microorganisms on it. Sofia asks Tyler if he is conscious or not, saying that they urgently need to treat his wound. Tyler says he just needs some sleep, assuring him that everything will be fine when it starts. Sofia yells at Tyler, saying that if the wound gets infected, he could get tetanus, which will definitely lead to his death. Tyler tells Sofia not to worry, assuring her that he'll be fine. He loses consciousness, and Alex notes that his temperature has become even higher, saying that he needs to disinfect the wound as soon as possible. Sofia asks Alex about how to disinfect the wound, saying that they don't even have clean water. After thinking for a while, Alex asks Sofia if she is Tyler's girlfriend. He says there's one very old-fashioned way to wash and disinfect a wound. Sofia, with fire in her eyes, asks Alex what this method is. Alex says that the wound needs to be washed with urine and hands her an empty coconut shell. Sofia recalls lessons in medical school that told her that if a wound was not treated with an antiseptic, it could become infected, leading to inflammation. She also recalls that in these classes, it was said that in emergency situations, if there is no clean water, you can use the middle part of the urine to wash the wound. In addition to everything else, she recalls that it is important to remember that the wound should not be washed with water during the patient's recovery period, as there is a risk of another infection. After a while, Tyler wakes up to see a small fence of ferns in front of him, illuminated by the bright sun. Tyler covers his face with his hand, looking around and trying to figure out where he is. He realizes that he is on shore in relative safety and notices Sofia on duty next to him. Sofia notices that Tyler is awake and walks over to him, inspecting him carefully. She offers him a drink of coconut juice, saying that he is severely dehydrated. Tyler drinks coconut juice and asks Sofia about how long he's been passed out. Sofia tells him that he was unconscious for almost 20 o'clock, after which he examines his wound and notices that it is bandaged. Sofia turns away from him and quickly informs him that she bandaged him, and he thanks her. Tyler realizes that his wound has been washed and asks Sofia where they found the source of the water, to which Sofia asks him not to ask too many questions. Tyler insists and asks her about what they used to wash his wound. Sofia is embarrassed and asks Tyler not to worry, adding that they washed his wound with urine. Tyler regrets that he didn't remember such an effective way himself, saying that they did the right thing. In response to Sofia's question about whether he is mad at her, Tyler says that she saved his life, adding that he has no reason to be mad at her. Sofia says she was afraid his wound might become inflamed, so she volunteered to take care of him. Tyler thinks about it and admits to himself that he can count on his fingers the number of people who could care about him as much as Sofia did. Tyler thanks Sofia for her hard work, to which Sofia asks him not to speak so formally. Sofia reminds her that he saved her life several times, and she only patched him up a little. Tyler tries to get up on his elbows, but fails and asks Sofia for help. Tyler's awakening is noticed by Alex and approaches him, asking him how he feels. Alex tells Tyler that he can turn to him for any problems. Tyler says he understood Alex, thanking him for his help and care. Tyler is approached by two girls, one of whom greets him and introduces herself as Elizabeth, a freshman. The other girl is shyly silent, so Elizabeth introduces her to Clara, saying that she saved her life. She thanks Tyler for the roast pork, which causes him to be confused. Alex explains to Tyler that they built a fire in the late afternoon yesterday, which Elizabeth and Clara noticed later. He adds that during the shipwreck, Clara was separated from her husband and children and still does not know what happened to them. Tyler reassures Clara, saying that if they are on this island, they will definitely meet them sooner or later. Elizabeth says she was told about Tyler's feet yesterday, adding that she didn't know he was so cool. Sofia tells Elizabeth that she's only a freshman and doesn't study with them, asking her why she talks like she knows Tyler. The girls begin to argue, and Tyler speculates that there must be a lot more survivors on the island than he originally thought. Turning his head to the side, he notices that Charles is lying unconscious, also surrounded by ferns. Alex tells Tyler that what Charles did is unacceptable and that he got what he deserved, but that they had better leave it as it was so that it wouldn't interfere with their survival. Tyler gets to his feet and agrees, mentally noting that he doesn't care about Charles as long as he behaves decently. Sofia is distracted from the pointless arguments with Elizabeth and notices that Tyler has gotten back on his feet. She approaches him and advises him to rest as he hasn't recovered yet, but Tyler replies that his wound has already healed. Alex takes Tyler on a tour to show him what they managed to do while he was unconscious. Alex says that thanks to the stone spearheads made of flint, they were able to start a fire. He also says that they dug a special hole and put the meat there so that it would not spoil in such hot temperatures. Alex sits down by the fire and hands Tyler the meat, saying that they were hoping to attract passing ships or planes with smoke, but they didn't. Sofia tells Alex that it wasn't that bad, as they were able to meet Elizabeth and Clara thanks to the fire. Realizing that they still have an unresolved dispute, Sofia and Elizabeth begin to stare at each other grimly again. Tyler looks around and notices strange activity in the brush that catches his attention. Behind the trees, a group of people were watched by a man who quickly ran into the thicket when he noticed Tyler's gaze. Tyler jumps to his feet, quickly picking up his bone knife from the ground. Sofia approaches Tyler, asking him about what has bothered him so much. Tyler scrutinizes the undergrowth, telling his friends that there is someone there. Tyler points the knife in the direction of the thicket and loudly orders the watcher to reveal himself. In response to Tyler's commands, no one responds, and the group hears only the usual noise of the jungle. Sofia asks Tyler if he's imagining it since he still hasn't recovered from his wound, to which Tyler replies that there's definitely someone there. Tyler loses patience as he raises a knife over his head and yells at a possible observer to get out immediately. In response to Tyler's orders, a man slowly emerges from the thicket who says in English that he is alone and unarmed. Sofia examines the man, assuming he is one of the survivors. Alex raises his hand and greets the man in a friendly way in English. Tyler senses something is amiss here, mentally wondering how this man could have survived in the jungle alone. The foreigner quickly moves his head to the sides and greets the rest of the group. Alex asks the foreigner if he is one of the surviving passengers on the cruise ship Pearl. The foreigner replies that he was also on the Pearl ship, introducing himself by the name Jack. Alex shakes Jack's hand and tells him his name, while Sofia admits to herself that she didn't understand much from their conversation. Tyler approaches Jack and asks him in English if he's been alone all along. Sofia is amazed at how pure American English Tyler has. Suddenly, she remembers that he had the lowest score in English at university. Jack replies that there were two of them, but his girlfriend couldn't swim to shore. Sofia regrets that reality and movies are too different. She imagines that in reality, Rose DeWitt would have survived, but would have drowned with the Titanic. Sofia approaches Jack by saying that not everyone would have survived such a shipwreck, adding that he was blessed by God himself, so he should be thankful that he was alive. Jack thanks Sofia for her kind words and asks how many people are in the group of survivors. Alex replies that all the survivors are in front of his eyes and there is no one else in their group. He also points to Charles, saying that there is one wounded man in their group. Jack asks if the wound is serious, wondering what happened to Charles. Alex admits that it's too early and they don't know if Charles will be able to make it. Jack decides to help the wounded man and rummages through his pockets for the things he needs. He pulls out anti-inflammatory drugs, saying that maybe it will help Charles with his recovery. Alex picks up Jack's pills and asks him where he found them. Jack replies that he's just a tourist in China, so he didn't adjust to the weather and caught a cold, so he went to the pharmacy and bought these pills. Alex says that he will only need 5 pills, mentally reasoning about the fact that each such pill now costs tens of thousands of yen. Jack says that Alex can take all the pills, adding that he is healthy now and doesn't need them. Clara thanks Jack, to which Jack replies that it's nothing and she has nothing to thank him for. Alex asks Jack if he's hungry, inviting him to join them. The whole group, accompanied by Jack, sits around the fire and begins to roast pork. Jack stares at the meat strung on a wooden skewer and asks the others whose it is. Sofia answers Jack honestly, saying that it's wild boar meat, to which he asks them where they got it from. Sofia says that they killed him in the woods, clarifying that it was all done by Tyler. Jack takes a closer look at Tyler and decides to hold off on questioning. Alex asks Jack if he'd like to join their group. Without hesitation, Jack smiles and replies that he is happy to join them. Alex welcomes Jack as a new member of the team, to which Jack responds with gratitude for being accepted. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and Sofia begin to sort things out again. After some time of eating, Tyler decides to talk to Jack and asks him about what he has eaten since arriving on the island. Jack tells Tyler that he found a lot of mushrooms and berries in the woods, specifying that he has been eating them for 2 days. He also says that he found a stream in the forest with clean water suitable for drinking. All the members of the group listen intently, intrigued by the idea that there is fresh water on the island. Alex asks Jack if he remembers where the creek is. Jack happily replies to Alex that he remembers his whereabouts perfectly. Alex rubs his hands together and asks Jack if he can show them where he is. Jack replies that he can show the location of the creek. However, Tyler says that they have already been to the woods and have not seen any creeks there. Jack says that the creek is actually not that easy to spot, as it is covered by overgrowth. Tyler asks Jack how he found the creek if it's covered by overgrowth. Jack admits that he accidentally stumbled upon a creek while exploring the island. Tyler wishes to continue his interrogation of Jack, but is interrupted by Sofia, who gently touches his arm. She quietly tells Tyler that they can check if there really is a creek there by going there to reconnoiter. Tyler reflects on the fact that it is not so easy for the average person to find edible mushrooms and berries in order to survive for 2 days by eating only them. Tyler is also embarrassed by the fact that Jack only ate 1 portion of meat, despite eating only plants for several days. Alex tells Jack that the whole team has high hopes for him in finding this creek. Tyler gets to his feet and says he'll go scouting with Jack alone. Sofia dissuades Tyler, telling him that he hasn't recovered from his injury yet. Jack notices that Tyler is injured, and Tyler says that he received a minor wound while killing a wild boar. He asks Jack if he's worried about going with him to see the creek. Jack calmly replies that he doesn't mind at all and calls him to follow him, after which they retire into the thicket. Tyler asks Jack how long they have to go, to which Jack replies that they are almost there. Jack asks Tyler about his wound and says that they could take Alex and the others with them, assuring him that it wouldn't slow them down. Tyler says he's fine, noting that the rest of the group would only get in the way, mentally admitting to himself that it would be too dangerous to take the girls with him. After 20 minutes of traveling through the jungle, Tyler again asks Jack how far they still have to go, to which Jack replies that they are almost there. Tyler tells Jack that he said the creek was half an hour's walk away, but it's been more than 40 minutes. Jack says that he was a little mistaken in assuring that they are indeed very close. Jack walks out to a small edge of the forest, saying they've arrived, and Tyler remarks that he can't even hear the sound of gurgling water. Tyler asks Jack where exactly the creek is, to which Jack says it's at the bottom of the hole. Jack walks over to a pit lined with rocks and invites Tyler to look down for himself. Jack says the creek is right at the bottom of the sinkhole, suggesting it's some kind of groundwater. Tyler looks down carefully, but what he sees turns out to be far from a stream of water. Upon closer inspection, Tyler discovers that there is a huge pile of human bones at the bottom of the pit. Suddenly, he hears 2 men come out of the brush and shout at them in English. One of the 2 newcomers wishes Tyler to go to hell in English and smirks wickedly. Before Tyler can get his bearings, Jack pushes him in the back. Unable to keep his balance, Tyler falls down a huge pit with human bones. Tyler lands on a pile of human bones with a deafening crunch. The protagonist carefully checks himself for broken bones and new wounds. While he's at it, he hears the newcomers greeting Jack. Jack tells his accomplices that there are 4 women and 3 men in the settlement, one of whom is seriously injured. Jack adds that since they've already dealt with Tyler, there's only 1 man left for them to kill. Jack's accomplices praise him for his excellent work, saying that he did a good job. As he leaves, Jack tells his accomplices that the survivors have a supply of wild boar meat, assuring them that they should last at least a couple more days. Tyler realizes that Jack has been deceiving them all along, and he wasn't actually alone on the island. He notes that luckily his arms and legs still obey him, which means he can try to get out of here. Feeling his back, Jack is convinced that his spine isn't broken either. Tyler notes the sheer number of bones that surround him and realizes that Jack and his accomplices won't stop at him and will definitely go after Sofia and the others. The protagonist understands that if he can't get out of here, then they definitely won't be able to cope with the bandits without his participation. However, despite his best efforts, Jack falls back onto the pile of bones, realizing that he can't even get up. Gathering all his strength into a fist, he rolls over with difficulty and decides to gradually crawl over the crispy bones. He looks around and tries to figure out what's going on here, looking around the pit. In the corner of the pit, he discovers a small lake and a snag lying next to it, on which something unusual grows. Taking a closer look, Tyler realizes that a large longevity mushroom has grown on the damp driftwood that can help him. Tyler tries to crawl, but an incredible pain permeates his entire body, preventing him from moving, and he falls again. After regaining some strength, he decides to keep crawling at all costs and begins to move slowly. Tyler reflects on how much infection may have accumulated on those bones during this time, adding that he needs to hurry up or he'll go back to the fever. Tyler tells himself that only this mushroom can help him now, as it has an anti-inflammatory effect and does a great job of fighting poisons. Tyler continues to crawl with difficulty towards the mushroom, while a dangerous, poisonous centipede crawls up to him. However, he quickly notices her and uses a nearby skull to crush the dangerous insect with a single blow. Finally approaching the mushroom, he notes that its surface is usually covered with spore powder and has roughness, adding that its color should be darker. Based on Tyler's observations, this mushroom should be smooth and shiny and also has a brown color, which makes its possible consumption dangerous. However, Tyler realizes that he has no other options and tries to push the anxious thoughts out of his head. Tyler touches the mushroom, noting that although it's not as soft, it doesn't look like a rock. Tyler continues to study the mushroom and notes that it lacks any smell, which is quite unusual for a mushroom. However, Tyler decides to properly prepare for the possible consequences and gathers his strength for a while. Gathering his strength, Tyler quickly digs his teeth into the cap of the mushroom, taking a bite. After eating the mushroom completely, Tyler lies down on the ground, feeling that his body has reached its limit, and noting that the longevity mushroom only seemed bitter to him at first, hoping that it would help him. However, after a split second, Tyler's throat is squeezed by an incredible spasm, making it difficult to breathe. From the incredible burning that permeates his entire body, Tyler begins to roll back and forth on the ground, trying to somehow endure this unbearable agony. In fits of incredible suffocation and fever, he draws attention to the lake of water next to him. With incredible difficulty, Tyler crawls to the lake, clinging to his life with all his might. After tasting the water, Tyler realizes it's fresh water and completely submerges his face in the water. After drinking his fill of water, Tyler kneels down and screams loudly from the strange sensations that overwhelm him. Tyler feels as if all his insides are burning and at the same time pierced by an incredible cold. During another bout of transforming his body, Tyler again lets out a loud scream, frightening all the birds surrounding the pit. Meanwhile, Jack and his accomplices capture almost the entire group of survivors and advise Alex to surrender, telling him that he can't defeat everyone alone. Jack mockingly expresses doubts that Alex has any fighting skills to stop them. One of his accomplices tells Jack to stop being nice to him and just finish him off. Meanwhile, Tyler's seizures subside and he finally feels relatively calm. He sits down on the ground, admitting that he felt like he was going to be burned alive right in that pit. Suddenly, Tyler realizes that with the seizures gone, his body has been filled with incredible lightness and strength. He examines his body again and notes that his wounds have begun to heal and the pain has subsided. Suddenly, his musings are interrupted by the deafening singing of birds, the likes of which he has never heard before. Tyler turns to the side and watches the pit exit, trying to figure out what kind of bird was making such a loud song. Looking at the surface of the pit, to his surprise, he clearly sees a small beetle crawling on a blade of grass near the surface. Tyler notes that something has happened to his eyesight, but now is not the time to think about it, as he needs to get to the surface as soon as possible. He examines the walls of the pit for ledges and sees that the vine is about 4 meters away and it will not be so easy to get to it. However, Tyler notices that the walls of this pit are not that smooth, suggesting that if they are dry, they can try climbing them. Upon touching them, Tyler realizes that they are quite wet and also covered in a thick layer of moss. Nevertheless, Tyler does not give up and begins to slowly climb up, and with all his strength grasping the ledges with his fingers. Tyler tells himself that there's no way he's going to fall down right now and continues to climb up to the exit. A few meters later, Tyler's foot slips and he notes that his arms, unlike his legs, seem to grow into these rocks. Tyler grabs another ledge with his hand and pulls himself up to it carefully. Tyler senses that something has changed in him, reflecting on the fact that in addition to sight, the other four senses are also greatly sharpened, which means that he has eaten an unusual longevity mushroom. Tyler regrets that there was only one mushroom, but interrupts his musings when he realizes that he has crawled to a place where he can grab onto a vine. With a sigh of relief, he grabs the vine with his hand and begins to climb the long-awaited exit. Meanwhile, one of Jack's cronies decides to finish off Alex and jumps on him, swinging his club. Alex manages to react and block a serious attack with his spear by exposing it in front of him. The other members of Jack's squad decide not to play the jousting tournament and join their comrade while attacking Alex from different angles. One of the attackers manages to seize the moment and lands a heavy blow to Alex's arm, knocking him off balance. Alex falls to the sand, unable to hold the weapon in his hands any longer. Alex gives his abusers a murderous look and calls them all scoundrels. One of Jack's accomplices laughs heartily, amused that Alex is still resisting, and orders his allies to finish him off. As the bandits approach Alex, he turns his attention to Sofia, noting her good looks. He holds Sofia close to him, saying that her delicate, pale skin is a sign that her meat will be delicious. Sofia tries to escape from the thug's grasp, telling him that he is disgusting and demanding that he get away from him. The bandit only smirks before pushing her forward with force, causing her to fall face first into the sand. The thug walks up to Sofia and starts tearing her clothes while she screams loudly for help. The thug tells Sofia that no one will help her, as her friend is most likely dead and she will meet him soon. But first, he will make her beg for death. Sofia replies that she doesn't believe Tyler could have died and demands that the thug not touch her. Suddenly, a rock hits the bandit's head with a deafening whistle, stunning him and forcing him to let Sofia go. Jack looks around and orders whoever threw the stone to come out immediately for his own good. However, in response to the bandit's requests, only the background noise of the jungle and the rapid rustle of leaves can be heard. Jack says that he doesn't know the identity of the person who threw the stone, but suggests that he go out amicably, otherwise things will take a very bad turn. Suddenly it starts to move faster, and Tyler flies out of it at high speed, saying hello to the bandits in French. All the survivors happily greet Tyler, unable to believe their own eyes. The thug holding Sofia turns towards Tyler, telling him that he didn't expect to see him alive after falling into the pit. With that, he snatches the bone knife from Jack's hands and heads towards Tyler. Screaming that Tyler crawled out of the pit for nothing, the bandit rushes at him with a bone knife. The bandit stabs hard. However, Tyler easily dodges him, moving a few centimeters off the line. Without letting the bandit come to his senses, he delivers a powerful blow to the bandit's body from the side, breaking several of his ribs. Distraught from the shock of the pain, the bandit tries to land another blow on Tyler with a sweeping lunge. However, Tyler jumps up and dodges the blow. Tyler delivers a crushing kick to the bandit's face, knocking him out and sending him on a long flight. The bandit plows his body for several tens of meters, after which he remains lying on the ground, unable to get up. Before his opponent can come to his senses, Tyler catches up with him and delivers a powerful finishing blow with his elbow. Tyler's punch lands right into the opponent's larynx, causing her to be seriously damaged. Tyler walks away from a gasping thug who has no choice but to die a painful death lying on the sand. Jack, startled, and asks Tyler about what he did to his comrade in arms. Tyler replies that he crushed his larynx and now he can't breathe, and his fate is sealed. Jack mentally admits to himself that he can't believe that Tyler is so strong, even though he was pushed into a pit a few dozen minutes ago. Jack tries to distract Tyler by begging for mercy, saying that he is giving up and has no intention of harming him. Suddenly, he asks his accomplices why they stand still and do nothing, ordering them to finish off Tyler. The bandits attack Tyler with dozens of blows, but none of them reach the target. Tyler notices that the movement of his opponents looks like they are being filmed in slow motion. Tyler felt that he was so fast that he could now guess all of their movements by the sound of their footsteps. Tyler decides it's time to stop experimenting and jumps back away from his opponents with a backflip. He grabs his bone knife, mentally glad that he's found it again after a short separation. Concentrating all of his newfound powers, Tyler throws a bone knife at his opponent. The knife accurately hits the neck of one of the bandits, mercilessly cutting through his skin and flesh. Tyler decides not to give his opponent an advantage for a second and quickly runs towards the stricken opponent. Catching up with his enemy, he coolly pulls his weapon from the thug's body. Tyler easily continues to dodge all the attacks of his opponents, guessing a window to kill the next thug. One of them sets himself up, striking Tyler and opening up in front of him. Tyler immediately takes advantage of his opponent's vulnerability and violently brings a bone knife down on the back of his opponent's head. Another thug watches in horror as his comrade falls lifelessly, splattering his blood on the sand around him. Tyler notes that if his knife had been made of steel, the bandit's head would have been separate from the body. The thug decides to take advantage of Tyler's momentary delay and screams to attack. However, Tyler playfully dodges the enemy's attack, stepping back a few centimeters to the side. Tyler decides that the fight has dragged on and it's time to put an end to this kindergarten. Taking advantage of the bandit's clumsiness, Tyler delivers a powerful elbow to the body, knocking him off balance. The bandit, before he even knows what happened, lets out a loud scream of unbelievable pain and falls to the ground. Tyler stands over the defeated opponent and observes what actions he takes. The bandit stands up on his elbows and looks at Tyler in genuine horror, trying to offer him something. However, the bandit is interrupted by a spear blow that pierces through his ribcage. Alex loses his temper and starts punching the bandit, screaming for him to die as soon as possible. Even the bandit's painful death doesn't stop Alex, and he continues to stab the already stiffening corpse. Tyler tries to stop Alex by grabbing him and telling him that enough is enough. Hearing nothing of the anger, Alex turns to Tyler, not recognizing him, and tries to punch him. Tyler intercepts Alex's punch, ordering him to calm down, repeating that it's him. Alex gathers his thoughts and calms down, trying to figure out what he's done. He turns around and sees the bandit's body horribly mutilated by the blows of his spear. Alex falls to his knees and screams loudly at the realization of what he did to a living person. He is surprised that he was able to commit a murder so brutal, but Tyler reassuringly puts a hand on his shoulder. Tyler admits to himself that he's not at all surprised that Alex is in such a state, upset that he doesn't know how to comfort people at all. Unable to think of anything better, Tyler tells Alex that all these bandits deserve to die. Suddenly, he turns around and notices that Jack, frozen with terror, is still there. Upon regaining consciousness, Jack tries to escape, but Tyler asks him if he is confident he can escape. Tyler walks over to the dead bandit and pulls his bone sword out of his head. Jack is horrified and tries to justify himself to Tyler, saying that he was forced to do it against his will. He admits that he didn't want to push Tyler into the pit, but his accomplices forced him. Jack says that if Tyler lets him go, he will never tell anyone about what happened on that beach today. Jack falls to his knees and swears to Tyler that he won't tell Davis a single word about today. Alex overhears Jack talking and is surprised that Jack can still have accomplices. He walks up to Tyler and whispers to him that he needs to find out who Davis is. Tyler kicks Jack in the face, smashing his nose and knocking him to the ground. Jack grabs his nose and screams loudly, trying to hold back the blood gushing out. Tyler informs Jack that he knows that sharks are being introduced into these waters. The protagonist grabs Jack's head and pulls him towards him, ignoring his tearful pleas and pleas. The timer enters the water, dragging Jack with it, who begs to let go and spare him. Tyler lowers Jack's head into the water, causing the blood from his nose to pick up the current. After holding Jack for a while, Tyler pulls his head out of the water, still holding it tightly with his hands. Tyler shows Jack that the sharks have already smelled blood and are approaching him. Jack begs for mercy from Tyler, tearfully begging him and saying he doesn't want to die. Tyler ignores Jack's pleas and grabs his t-shirt, pulling him towards him slightly. The protagonist tells Jack that he will only give him one chance, and if he lies to him even once, then he is a corpse. Jack turns around and notices the sharks' tail fins approaching and quickly agrees to tell Tyler everything he wants to know. Tyler asks Jack how many of his people are on the island. Jack nervously looks away and says that there were only 5 of them on this island. Tyler grabs Jack and walks him further into the water as Jack assures him that he is telling the truth about the fact that there were only 5 of them on the team. Tyler asks Jack again how many of his people there are, to which Jack honestly admits that there are more than 20 of them. The protagonist asks Jack where the others are now, to which he is told that they are on the East Coast. Tyler points Jack to the approaching sharks and tells him that they're hanging around because they've already tasted human flesh, and again advise him to tell him all about his accomplices. He adds that if he lies to him again, he will personally stick his head in the shark's mouth. The rest of the survivors slowly come to their senses and gather near the shore near Alex. With anger in his eyes, Alex asks Jack how many people he has eaten before. Jack admits that he has eaten about 3 or 4 people, adding that they have caught a lot in the past few days. Tyler asks Jack about how many people they've caught in that time. Jack replies that his boss, named Davis, said they could keep some people to eat later. Alex loses his temper again and tells Jack that he and his cronies are just a bunch of cattle. Tyler asks Jack exactly how many people they captured, to which Jack replies that there are about 20 captives. Tyler says that if there are about 20 of his people, they couldn't have eaten only humans, to which Jack replies that people were a last resort. Alex runs into the water saying that Jack and his men don't have a drop of humanity, to which Jack replies that if they hadn't started eating humans, they would have died themselves. Tyler suddenly walks behind Jack, grabs him, and snaps his neck in the blink of an eye. Before Alex can get closer, Tyler throws his lifeless body to the approaching sharks. The sharks begin their meal and Tyler quickly swims away, making his way to the safety of the shore. After getting out, Tyler heads towards the girls, who have been watching everything from a distance sitting on the sand. Sofia says she's very happy to see him as he takes off his t-shirt and hands it to the girl. He tells her that the t-shirt is a little torn but can still be worn, to which she asks him what he will wear. Tyler turns around at the corpses of the lying bandits and decides to look for suitable clothes among them. After choosing the right t-shirt, Tyler walks over to the bandit's corpse and removes his clothes. After properly washing the t-shirt in seawater and washing it of bloodstains, Tyler puts it on himself. He approaches Sofia and asks her to get dressed quickly, to which Sofia quickly agrees and puts on his t-shirt. Tyler and Alex watch as the sharks finish their feast, leaving behind only bloodstains on the seawater. Alex tells Tyler that he shouldn't have killed Jack, as he could have been forced to reveal exactly where his leader and the others were. Tyler turns to Alex and asks what he would do with this information next. Sally overhears their conversation and asks them if they are going to rescue the people kidnapped by the bandits. Alex says it's all a good idea, but leader Davis has more than 20 subordinates, making it very difficult to rescue the prisoners. Sally asks him if they are going to leave things as they are, adding that the criminals may have captured their students. She turns to Tyler, asking him why he is silent since he used to be in the military, remembering that soldiers are supposed to protect the people who pay taxes to feed them. Tyler tells Sally that he didn't serve in the army in China, but in another country as part of Squad F. They look at him with incomprehension, asking if he is a citizen of the other side. Tyler replies that he is a Chinese citizen, but that he served in another country in a special overseas F unit. Sally says that only 1% of all military personnel get into such an army, stressing that the requirements for selection are simply incredible. Sofia asks Tyler what kind of squad they are, to which Tyler replies that it could be mistaken for a mercenary squad. Sally says it is, however, the only overseas unit recognized by the Chinese government. Tyler recalls that he was promoted to sergeant after 3 months of training as a recruit. A year later, he was promoted to lieutenant, and Tyler became the first soldier in overseas F troop to be promoted to lieutenant in such a short time. Had he continued to serve in this unit, he would probably have been the first Chinese soldier to achieve such high results there. Tyler says that he joined the unit only to make money and was never motivated by a sense of patriotism or duty to the Chinese army. He adds that, however, his companions are right, and these people should not be simply abandoned, noting that sooner or later Davis's men will come for them. Tyler mentally adds that he only got to this island because a man gave him a mission that forced him to defect from overseas F squad and pretend to be a third-year medical student. He tells his companions that they should not forget that they have recently killed 5 of their squad, so they will definitely come for their souls. A group of survivors carefully inspect the items left behind by Jack and the rest of the bandits. Alex approaches Tyler and asks him if he checked on them when he hinted at the beginning that he wasn't going to rescue the prisoners. Tyler tells Alex that this is a very dangerous operation that will require working together, and if someone isn't willing to do it, everything will fall apart. He turns to Clara and suddenly asks her what her thoughts are about the upcoming surgery. Clara, confused, stares into the void and nervously replies that she agrees. Tyler mentally notes that during the moments when they discussed rescuing the captives, Clara remained silent, adding that he felt that she was very afraid, but did not want to admit it. Alex says that Charles is still unconscious and they need someone to look after him, suggesting Clara as the candidacy. Clara agrees, saying that she will definitely look after Charles. She heads away from the group, saying she'll check on him. Alex approaches Tyler and tells him that they need to find out exactly where Davis's men have settled. Tyler replies that Jack gave them their exact location, so it won't be difficult to find them, mentally adding that the main question is how to deal with them. Tyler asks Alex what time it is, to which Alex replies that it's around 1 p.m. Tyler says you need to start before it's too late, and preferably right now. He approaches Clara and gives her a spear, saying that she will need it to both protect herself and split the coconuts. He adds that Clara can take the meat out of the pit and roast it if she wants, to which Clara only modestly thanks him. Tyler says that we can't put it off until tomorrow, as the disappearance of 5 people from the team will make Davis wary. He adds that if they have decided to release the captives, it should be done now because they still have an element of surprise. Alex responds to Tyler, saying that it's sound logic and asks him exactly what they'll do. A few hours later, Tyler and his squad carefully make their way through the jungle, armed with spears and a club. Suddenly, Tyler's attention is drawn to a strange sound, and he pauses to listen to it. Alex approaches him with a question, but Tyler puts a finger to his lips and gestures for everyone to be quiet. The whole group listens warily to the sounds of the jungle, trying to figure out what caught Tyler's attention. Tyler tells the others that there's someone ahead, and they grip their spears tightly, looking around. The group looks ahead and hears a strange rustling of leaves, observing the unusual movement of the bushes. Tyler commands his squad to hide and not make any sounds. The whole squad doesn't realize what has happened, but immediately obeys Tyler and hides in the bushes. Amidst the noise of the jungle, the squad suddenly hears a man's voice asking someone to stop running away. Sofia's curiosity gets the better of her, and she decides to look at the source of the sound by peeking through the bushes. Sofia sees a woman running away from a man, playfully flirting with him. The man catches up to the woman and pins her against a tree, telling her that he has caught her. He gently grabs her chin and asks her when she's going to break up with Jack, asking him why he wants her to break up with him so badly. The man begins to stroke the woman, saying that if they break up with Jack, they won't have to hide like this. Sofia realizes that they are most likely talking about the Jack that Tyler recently fed to the sharks. Sofia sympathizes with Jack, saddened that he fought for his life while his girlfriend was having an affair with another man. A man and a woman clearly do not notice the characters watching them and continue to play their love games. The sounds of their laughter and playful jokes can be heard in the forest for several tens of meters. But more importantly, the entire group of survivors can hear perfectly well what the couple is about to do. Sofia shyly continues to watch them, not understanding why they don't hesitate to do it in public. A long peeping session is interrupted by Tyler, who whispers Sofia over, confusing her. He takes Sofia by the shoulder and shows her where she needs to move, so as not to give away their position. The pair begin to get carried away and move on to something more serious, continuing to embarrass observers. Tyler and the others sit silently, trying to figure out if there is anyone else in the neighborhood besides the two. Alex decides to break the silence and asks Tyler what they should do with the pair, assuming they're from Davis's squad. Tyler suggests that Elizabeth, Sally, Sofia, and Alex pretend to be passing survivors to distract them, and if it smells fried, run as fast as they can. Sofia asks Tyler what he will do while they distract them. Tyler smirks and says he'll be sitting here waiting for the right opportunity in the meantime. He says that if the two run after them, he will kill them, and if they try to run for help, he will cut off their escape route.